Welcome to the Hakuna Matata talk, and this is our very first episode. And today we'll be talking about life as it is, like real life, what everyone is going through now during lockdown. Talk about how we are, hanging in and how we are like holding up. Really, it's been a very, very difficult situation for everyone. But hey, it's just hear from each other, talk to each other. Talking is therapy, so it's like kind of therapy. And today I have my people. When I say my people, I mean these are my real people. I have Agatha in the house. There is Sandra in the house. There's Priscilla.
Hi.
And hopefully there will be other people joining us later. Hi, ladies. Thanks for being with us. So today, as you all know, we are talking about life during the lockdown. Like, how are you guys doing? Maybe I could hear from you first. How are you doing? How is everything? Sandra, Agatha, is Priscilla.
In which order?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, we don't have rules here. We make
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
The lockdown has been good to me. Even if I've had some things I've missed, but I'm not complaining. I had time for myself, for my family. Of course, friends, you couldn't see them in person, but we kept in touch online and on internet. Thank God for social media. The only thing I missed maybe it was traveling, but otherwise, for me, I have nothing against the lockdown.
Oh, wow.
They can prolong it.
And Agatha, on your side?
The lockdown hasn't been much of an effect on me because my life went on as usual. I was working and I'm still working, as what I do is considered essential for the society. So I'm one of those essential workers. Yeah, except for the social part of it, going out to restaurants and meeting friends. Yeah, that's it. But for the rest, it's still the same old lifestyle.
And Priscilla, how is it in Uganda? Is it as training as it is everywhere else? Or is how is life there? Is it better? How are you guys feeling? Has life gone on as usual? Or is there a lot of changes? How are you?
Hi, sorry, my network is really not good.
No problem.
So my picture is frozen because of the network, but I'm hoping that you can hear me sound and clear.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So from my part of the world, I stay in Uganda, Kampala. My part of the world, we are not in the lockdown currently. But how the lockdown affected me, or how I experienced my lockdown, it was interesting. I couldn't say that I'm the technical essential worker, but I'm an essential worker because of the organization that I work with, which is dealing with things related with the public health, with emergencies. I work with a project called Global Health Security Project. So it's about the emergencies. So when the pandemic came in, it was the emergency. That's when we were really, really at the peak of our jobs. We were working non-stop.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of the lockdown itself, where no one else was working, I personally wasn't out there, but my teammates were out there in the field taking tests, and that means that there was a lot of work on our part. So come to the lockdown, it was really interesting. Having to be that busy, but in the house full of kids. Everyone is busy.
Okay.
It was really good to spend time with the kids, but also find ways to deal with them without them thinking or feeling like you don't need them around, you know.
Yeah.
You need to concentrate, but you also create time to be with them. So I've seen video clips of parents trying to slap their kids with shoes while on a meeting or on a call. I relate to that so well, but there are always good and bad sides to either stories. So the lockdown was really tough on people who are used to getting out, do things themselves, go out, and have to do things on ground.
Yeah.
But it was still good because we got to spend time with our families.
So basically, for everyone, like the best part about lockdown has been having to spend time with our families. On my side, that's how it's been. Also, I've had time with my family, with my child, and like it's been wonderful. We've been together like every day, every evening. I've been working from home most of the time. So for me, on that part, that has been the most interesting part of the lockdown, spending time with my family. And Angel is joining us. Hey, hey.
Hey.
Yeah, hello. So you're welcome. Sorry about the network. But you've joined anyway.
Yes, people. It is 7:18 here, so I'm still cranky in the morning. I'm still sleepy, people.
Oh my God! But thanks for making the time. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome.
We just started not long ago. We are here with Agatha, Belgium, Sandra in Belgium, Priscilla in Uganda, and now you've joined us in the US. So you're welcome. We've just been talking about the general experience during the lockdown, like how has been the lockdown and how has been life generally for you, for example. Did something change or did your life go on as usual, or how is it? How are you? How is it over
Well, it's been a whole year, so now it feels like I'm so used to being in lockdown that I forgot how normal people react. But the start was the hardest. Like you're there, you're working, it's a normal day. And then they tell you out of the blue, you know what, we are shutting you down. Like go home, stay home, don't go anywhere. I was devastated because being at home, and I had been in the US for like 8 months. Yeah. So still trying to figure out who is who, where is where, finding friends, of course, and now they tell you stay at home. Like, why are we staying at home?
Yeah.
But it was hard because my routine was already set. I wake up, I go to work, I come back home.
Yeah.
And then same thing. So now you remove the working part.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? I have a lot of time. Yeah. So trust me, the first like 2 weeks, I would simply wake up, look at my house, move around, go to the kitchen, of course, get something to eat, go back to bed. Like I slept because when I'm super stressed and I don't know what to do, I'll just go and sleep. So I was sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. It was hard, but eventually, then we had everything organized. School was moved online. So now we got super busy trying to learn a new lifestyle of teaching online. How do you contact parents? How do you look for kids who never show up online? What do you do? What are the procedures? So it came now from being depressed, not really depressed, but being very relaxed, nothing to do, to now having to learn everything afresh. Yeah, so yeah.
But
of course,
1 year down the road, what can you say in general?
1 year down the road. So for me, 2020 was not that kind of year that my life stopped, my life continued. I moved from a different city, from one city to another. I changed workplaces. So I can say it ended up being a pretty good year. So I was that year ended in June, and then July, August was summer. Summer I stayed in the same city. Then August I had to move. Now it was stressful because now it's a new environment. Lockdown is being eased out. We can move around, but now I'm starting afresh. You know, you're moving somewhere different. You're moving to a different school and everything. So life became now, it was more like, okay, excited. We are moving to a bigger city, yay. But now, how do we deal with, and then it's different. The schools have different systems. Imagine now you're using, what are we using, Meet? In this school, you move to another school, now you have to learn Google. So it's like you're using different platforms. So August to November, months of transition. Right now, yeah, this is now the best time when I've settled. I mean, it's like now they are telling us, oh, we're just going to let all the kids come back to school. We don't care even if the numbers are moving up, and now we're like, okay, yeah. So it's just been
on the private kind of side, lockdown has been okay.
Yeah, after getting used to it and having a normal, like getting a routine, how to pace myself and things to do. I got to work out. I got to read books that I have always wanted to read that were just on my shelf. I got to do some more trainings online. So for me personally, it was good. And of course, I got time to talk to people back home in Uganda. It's like, yeah, now I can wake up in the morning and get on a call.
Yeah, okay. No, but now, like, to sum it up, I think from what at least we are hearing, lockdown hasn't been as bad as would imagine or would have imagined it. Our lives, some of us managed to keep on, and everything managed to go on as it should be. So we can't complain, but at least we've been okay. We are still okay, and we've had so much time at our hands, I can say. What are the new things we've learned during the lockdown? Like personally, I learned a lot of things. I mean, in the kitchen, I learned to cook new stuff. I learned to bake different things. Like literally, yeah, my kitchen skills are now up there. So thanks to lockdown that I've had so much time, yeah, to learn these things. Otherwise, yeah, it's always work, and then weekend you need to relax. But now I've had like enough time and other stuff, you know. Yeah. So for me, yeah, I can say I've learned something during the lockdown. And how about you guys? Did you learn something new given the fact that you had some time, you know, free than usual? Did you learn new stuff? We'll start with Agatha. Did you learn something new, or Sandra?
Agatha, we can't hear you.
Yes, your microphone is off.
Oh yeah, sorry. Personally, I learned not to take things for granted. The small things I used to take for granted, like eating out with you guys.
Yeah.
I now get some things like that much more than in the past, you know. And what have I learned from the lockdown? Nothing much other than that. Not taking things for granted and appreciating every moment, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you'll be forcing us to come out to eat and paying for us.
Yes, always welcome. Just like in the past.
Yeah. And Sandra, what is that one thing you've learned during the lockdown?
I think I learned more about my daughter. She's a teenage. She's a teenager. Eh? So she's just 11 years, so she's changing a lot. So I think before the lockdown, I had, my life was so busy. So if it wasn't for the lockdown, I could have missed a lot of things since she became a teenager. Because she herself, she had a lot of things. She had sports, a lot of activities. Almost every day after school, she had an activity. Yeah. And then me too, I had my activities. So she was a lot with babysitters. Yeah. So it's likely that I would have missed a lot of important things
Yeah.
So I'm happy that that happened. And I learned, like Agatha says, I learned what is most important in my life. I learned what I have to give time more and what I don't have to give time.
Yeah.
I think that's it, yeah. And then I concentrated on my studies more than I did before. I think if it wasn't for the lockdown, I would have given up already. So I'm grateful.
And Priscilla, what did you learn something during the lockdown when you are really, really at home? Priscilla, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to switch and put my phone.
Okay, no problem. Can see.
Not good at all. So I did not have enough time to actually learn new things in the lockdown because I was working. Actually, I never got leave last year. I was working throughout the year up to now. But I learned to appreciate the little things that we normally take for granted, like spending time with your kids. Even when I was busy, at least I was around them.
Yeah.
And they can be quite interesting. When the schools began, we learned new things like being teachers or IT specialists. I mean, you're having Zoom classes and you have to help these kids to make sure that they are in class. I learned to appreciate the teachers. I respect teachers right now.
Yes.
Like you can't tell me
Angel,
otherwise.
Angel is a teacher right there.
I'm like, yeah, now parents understand what we go through.
That's really nice.
The time you spend with our kids and we think, well, we pay the fees. And we expect the result. Do you understand how to make that child settle, follow the classes, and maybe take them through when they're doing exams? That's the most challenging. I have a daughter who is extremely principled. When they were doing exams, she was so stuck on doing numbers that she can't figure out, and you're trying to tell her, can you do the other numbers that you know, then we'll get back to this. She says, no, I need to do this and finish it, but you're running out of time. Then she would cry. I was like, oh my God, this is what people go through to take care of our own kids. So I really learned to appreciate the teachers, really so much. I can never take it for granted that our kids go to school, you groom them, they pass. When you send homework, we complain. I don't complain anymore. So I can say that I've learned serious lessons in the lockdown.
That's really nice to hear. And has there been, like, what has been the most difficult moments? Like, have you had any anyway? I don't know. For me, I've had a few, but not a lot. But have you guys had some, like, really difficult moments due to the lockdown? Like,
allow me to start with this topic. During the lockdown, the actual lockdown, the 3 months that they locked us down, I had challenges. You know, the lockdown was kind of abrupt, and yet for us, we had to continue working. I had a lot to do, a lot of work. Like I would do work that would be done normally by around 6 people until I broke down at some point. Actually, I got sick. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think straight. At some point, I lost appetite. Like the challenge was not to know when to stop. I would wake up at 7 and start working and go to bed at 1 o'clock without doing much, like nothing else, you know, like it's work. And I think that was challenging, but also it turned out to be a lesson because after I recovered from being sick, I learned when to pull back and you know, take time off. If you feel your brain is frozen, if you feel something is getting to you, your heart is stressing too much about something, pull back. And like something I didn't have before, today I'm able to say, okay, if this is not working out, if I'm getting stressed and beaten up about this, I'll shut my computer, go look for something to eat and rest for like 30 minutes without working. In fact, I had to remove Outlook from my phone so that when my computer is off, I don't have to see emails coming in. Yeah, and I play games to get my mind off work. So yeah, those are the challenges that I had in the lockdown.
Well, I'm gonna add on what Priscilla you've just said, which is very important. One, when we're in lockdown and we're working online, it kind of feels like, because there's no boundary. First of all, you're at home, probably in your PJs, working. Anytime you can stand up and go and whatever. So knowing when to stop for me was also a challenge. I could wake up and it's kids online. How do I do this? I didn't do this. I don't know how to log onto my computer. My device, I don't know, broke down. It's like constant emails. And of course, the parents. I'm so happy that 2020 taught parents that
you can say that again.
That teachers are normal human beings and teachers have it rough to get the attention of kids. I mean, you can see it. Tell a child to sit on a computer for 30 minutes. They are running around, and that is exactly even what happens in class. You'll be surprised. It's very hard to just have the kids sit for a whole hour just listening to you talk. They get bored, you know. So lockdown got me good lessons I got to learn kitchen stuff. You people, I don't like cooking, but when you're in lockdown, everywhere is locked. So I had to tell myself, well, you're alone, just YouTube and cook whatever you can manage. So cooking, yes. The challenge is stopping. I would also, it's 7 a.m. I'm up, seated on my computer, reply emails, do more work. And I'm a mathematics teacher, you guys. If there is anything hard, it is trying to put mathematics and lock it down in PowerPoints. Like, who does that? So it was a challenge. It's now that I have got used, and good thing, there's so many apps out there. Of course, we didn't know what to use. We were like, every time taken through real technology trainings, like, okay, you guys, there is this app, this is how you use it. There is this app, this is how you use it, and then had to filter through. So for me, challenge was technology and that routine, knowing this is my timetable, I gotta stick to it. I have to stop looking at my emails. I mean, you'll be in bed, getting ready for bed, and there is an email notification. Can you ignore that?